Hey guys, I'm Annie Designs and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is part 2 of my Japan vlog, and this part is purely just the touring of Japan. We started off this trip with our student Suzuka helping us out and leading us to Osu and spending some more time with her outside of WCS related activities. This is where the Osu parade from the World Cosplay Summit was held, and this time we were actually able to do the touristy stuff. See the shops, see all the sights, and actually enjoy the place a little more than we would have before. We got some delicious waffles, some delicious food, and we checked out a lot of really nice novelty shops. These waffles were really good, there were all sorts of different flavors, and Mae-Gwyn and I enjoyed them quite a lot. But honestly, the novelty stores were really what kind of stood out here. This place was really cool. You had to go through a small door to get in there. It was so neat and so thematic, and I love places like this, and there were so many of these just across Japan in general. I just love this kind of stuff. Now, one of our main reasons for going to the Osu district was actually to see PG Cafe. Mae-Gwyn really wanted to check out this cafe, and I'm so glad we were actually able to get a reservation. Thanks again to Suzuka. This was just a really lovely little cafe that was a very eclectic collection of penguins absolutely everywhere. And I mean everywhere. There were penguins in every nook and cranny. They were on the ceiling, they were at your seat, they were everywhere, and it was absolutely wonderful, and Mae-Gwyn looked extremely happy since she loves penguins so much. There were piplups, there were penguins, there were all sorts of little things around, and it was just a real fun thing to see. There were even penguins sitting at each little table with you, little plush penguins just having a little accompanied meal with you. It was so cute. And of course, all the foods and beverages were really cute as well. I had this adorable cream soda float with a little penguin on it, and Mae-Gwyn's cream soda float looked like a little penguin jumping into the water. It was so cute! And not to mention, Corey and Suzuka's were adorable as well. This was also just a really lovely time to just spend time with Suzuka before we parted ways for the rest of her Japan adventure. It was really lovely and a great start to our Just Japan part of the trip. So we left Suzuka and got onto the Shinkansen, or the bullet train as most people would call it. This train was ridiculously fast. It definitely lives up to the name. It didn't really take much time to get from Nagoya over to Tokyo. We arrived towards the night and we headed to our hotel, ready to start our Tokyo adventures the next morning. And so our adventures in Tokyo began on a very moist and muggy day. After a few torrential downpours, we were greeted by a nice sunny day, though still a little moist, but we were arriving to our destination as we were heading towards the Tokyo Tower. Now, something of note about the Tokyo Tower is that there is a shrine almost directly in front of it, or at least the Tokyo Tower kind of is framed in the background of this shrine. It is an absolutely gorgeous shrine and absolutely massive, and quite a famous one, though I will admit the name does escape me right now. But there are all sorts of amazing things to see there. This is a tribute towards safety for children, and then there's all sorts of other things around here as well. And because of the downpour from earlier, it was almost completely empty. This area is usually swarming with crowds of people. It was honestly really cool seeing it nearly empty with the Tokyo Tower just looming in the background like this with no people around, considering most of Japan is pretty crowded, I would say. So it was really nice to have this peaceful moment. And then we arrived at the Tokyo Tower because there was a specific thing we were looking for, and that is the Red Cafe, which was doing a Cardcaptor Sakura collaboration. I will admit the food was a little pricey, but I mean everything was so cute and well done, and we were really excited to try this out, and we're kinda suckers for a themed cafe if you couldn't tell already. We started off with drinks, and I got the Sakura-themed drink, which was a strawberry milk, and then Meg got the Sharon drink, and Corey got the Kero drink. These were very cute and actually tasted really good. So while they were pricey, they were still pretty delicious, so still kind of worth it, you know? Each drink comes with a random coaster, so we decided to select ours even more at random, and coincidentally each picked the characters that went with the drinks we got, so that's a fun little coincidence, but every item you get comes with a little coaster. And as you can see, the Cardcaptor Sakura strawberry milk was very good. The star of the show, though, was definitely my main course, which was a Sakura-themed beef stew, and honestly, Mae-Gwyn and I agree. We need this kind of sauce on a Kitsune like right now. It was so good. And also, there were little Sakura blossoms cut out of ham on this meal, so the presentation was also just top-notch. Mae-Gwyn and I both had the beef stew, and Corey decided to have the Tower of Pasta, which was more Tomoyo themed. He said it was also pretty good, but also was kind of looking at our beef stews a little bit. But honestly, everything was really good, so despite the price, pretty great. For dessert, Meg had the Kero Tower of Pancakes, and there were little fruits cut out in the shape of Kero's little head, which is, again, just adorable, and everything was tower themed because of the Tokyo Tower. And for my dessert, I had the chocolate and matcha flavored parfait, which was Shaoran themed, and oh my gosh, it was good. Ignore the chocolate stuck in my teeth. It was so good, I really didn't care in the moment whatsoever. It was delicious. Now onwards to the next location. On our walk there, we found these really cool buildings that I just could not get over the architecture of. They were just beautiful. And then we arrived near Harajuku, right in front of the La Forêt building, which was unfortunately closed on the one day we visited, so we had to come back later. But we did go to the main hub of Harajuku, and we saw so many interesting things. This place definitely lived up to its hype. There were stores with all sorts of different alternative and sub-style fashions, and also so many cute cafes and things like that, and also this giant Daiso, which was also very exciting for me. There were novelty shops like the Sanrio shop and all sorts of other things like that, and there was so much to see and look at. It was honestly a little overstimulating at times, but it was so cool to actually be experiencing walking down the streets of Harajuku like this. There were so many people, and it was just really cool to finally be here in person. Most stores actually do not allow any form of filming or pictures, but this shop actually did, and I was really excited to actually get some footage of all these incredible JoJo figures, because a lot of these are actually figures I've only ever seen online. I've never actually seen in person, despite going to a lot of anime conventions. So it was really cool to see these JoJos in person. Now at this point I was honestly getting really tired, but we had to go to a very special place and we made the trek out to go find it because I couldn't go to Japan without going here. And I'm sure many of you can never guess what it possibly could be. There's no possible hints here on where I was excited to go. Do you see it? Nintendo store. I see it. Oh, look at it. Nintendo. There you go. The link that you It's packed. Oh my goodness. Yes. You're like a little child in a candy store. Meg is right, of course. I love Nintendo and all its different series and such, so I was really excited to finally be in a Nintendo store again, since I hadn't been since I had been last to New York City. So I was just really happy and just got all sorts of things, of course. A lot of these novelty stores honestly kind of feel like exhibits/stores because they have things on display, they have statues and all sorts of other exhibits within them. It makes it a really cool experience and more worthy of visiting, honestly. It's so worthwhile. On the same floor of the Nintendo store is also some other novelty stores, like the Shonen Jump store and also the Monster Hunter store, which was really cool. But most notable was the Pokemon Center, which also had giant exhibit-like things to take pictures with, just like the Nintendo store does. But this one also has a little bit more product, I would say. A little less exhibit, way more product, in comparison to the Nintendo store, which has a lot more on display. It took me so much to resist buying anything, and I just didn't want to brave the giant line that was forming. It was so long, so long, and I just didn't want to have to stand through that. But while waiting on Meg, I did have some fun with these like cardboard cutout things. They were so cute! Now, we actually had some evening plans for this particular day, but what I didn't expect was where we would cut through during our journey to said evening plans. It was a very busy place, and Corey was guiding us very well. There were all sorts of cool things on our way there, but what I wasn't expecting was where it would lead us through. And it was suddenly becoming apparent where we were, and I got very excited. Because we were in Shibuya, we went right to the famous Shibuya scramble near the 10-9 building. Now, I was really excited to be here, and probably for the nerdiest reason possible, but I was just super excited to be standing in the Shibuya scramble near the 10-9 building and everything like that, and I was kind of nerding out a little bit. And if you know about a certain DS series, you may know why. One of my favorite video games is The World Ends With You, a game that came out on the DS years ago when I was in middle school, and I played religiously with my friends and obsessed over, and the main primary location is in Shibuya at the 10-9 building, and like it actually opens at the Scramble Crossing. So many scenes take place there and near there. So there we were, the Hachiko statue and everything, and I was nerding out. But we couldn't stay and take pictures with Hachiko because, again, we had somewhere to be. We had some friends to meet up with. We met up at the restaurant with Team USA from the World Cosplay Summit, Connor and Emily. This was so much fun, and I'm so glad we were able to meet up with some of the other teams while we were just touring around Japan separately. If you saw my World Cosplay Summit vlog, you would see that we would have gone to a restaurant that had a grill in front of us to cook meat, and that is the same kind of concept here. But this time we tried some different things, like this beef tongue, which was actually really good. So you cook the meat in front of you, and it's honestly all really delicious, and the seasonings are all really well prepared.
What made you into a grandpa?
I was there when the ancient memes were written.
Oh no.
I was there for Hamster Dance, the website.
Oh no. That is ancient. Oh god.
I was there for my 25 free hours of AOL 95. I got so many CDs in the mail, we turned them into coasters.
Oh, no,
we used them as decorations for homecoming.
Oh my god, yeah.
Literally, we did.
Yeah.
The computer had no hard drive, but floppy.
Our biggest, we were so excited we got a computer that had 250 megabyte hard drive.
Yep. Oh, dude.
One time we got a computer that had a whole gigabyte, and we were concerned we'd never be able to fill it. That's why I'm Grandpa.
And that is why.
The next day we were off to our next adventure, and we honestly wanted to hit another themed cafe. So we headed back over to the area of Harajuku near the La Forêt building because we also wanted to hit there as well, since we had missed it the day prior. The day before, we discovered that the Little Mermaid Cafe was actually in this building over here, so we headed on in, hoping that maybe there'd be some room despite not having a reservation. The escalators here were so cool. There were all these mirrors and there was some really cool reflections happening. Honestly, a lot of the buildings here have such neat visual impact and it's really, really cool. We found the cafe, but alas, there was no room. There were no room because we didn't have a reservation. But we weren't at a total loss because we found familiar faces. Team UAE from the World Cosplay Summit were also trying to see if they could get a spot. So not a total loss, and it was really great to see some friends again. And finally, we got to hit the La Forêt building, which has stores for brands such as Baby the Star Side Bright, Angelic Pretty, and all sorts of other amazing stores. I was so excited! But we couldn't film in there, but I did get quite a haul at the Sailor Moon store, of course. Meg wanted to stop back at Harajuku to pick up a few things we saw the day before, so we got some crepes and also some bubble tea. This stuff was really delicious and also matched Meg's shirt really, really well. And then we decided to spend the rest of our day in Akihabara. That's right, the anime capital of the world. But first, we had to drop off some of our shopping in a coin locker. The kind of locker where you just pay to have it and rent it for the day, and then come back for it later. We just had too much stuff and didn't want to haul it around with us all day. I can definitely see why they call this the anime capital of Japan. It's so bright, so colorful, and there's so many stores that concentrate on anime and anime goods. Like Mandarake, which is what the building you see here in front of me is. But of course we couldn't film in there. But we did meet up with some friends there. We intentionally met up with Chibi Tifa from WCS 2021, an alumni who is also attending the World Cosplay Summit. So with her we headed over to Animate and a few other stores, and it was really lovely to spend some time with her. And at the end of the day, with sore feet and a lot of shopping, we decided to go to our coin locker, pick up our Harajuku hauls, and head back to the hotel. Gosh, we were tired at this point. Alright, so we are back at the hotel. It's a little later in the evening. It is time to show you some of the things that I've purchased today. First up, the Sailor Moon store. I couldn't help myself and got this little light up acrylic standee of my best girl, Sailor Uranus. She's also a keychain, but I think I'm gonna actually take the keychain off and just use her as an acrylic standee. She's very pretty. I quite like her. I can't wait to just light her up and put her in places. As I was checking out, I found another acrylic standee of Best Girl, so I had to get that one too. This one's a lot taller and a little fancier. She just doesn't light up. And then I got this. This is the Sailor Moon Eternal, the movie book. It has like profiles of all the characters and stuff in it, which I think is really, really neat. Mae-Gwyn got the most recent movies book equivalent of this. So it has profiles of characters, it shows some of the various outfits, various little scenes from the movie and things like that. Yeah, I got that one too. Now, Mandarake. This place is a really well-known place. There were a lot of very interesting things there. Very interesting is a good way to put it, honestly. Anyway, let me show you what I got here. So it's the 30th anniversary commemoration book about Les Roses de Versailles, a series I have just gotten into recently. Blame Revolutionary Girl Utena, depending on your pronunciation, I guess, of that one. But I'm really interested in it, and this is really, really cool. But it was also $4 or equivalent to $4 Canadian, which is wild. It actually shows like actual pictures of Versailles in it. It kind of like compares like, because some characters are based off of real people and some characters are completely fictitious. It's late, I'm tired, it's been a long day, my feet hurt. Ooh. There's some really lovely artworks in here. You see like here it's talking about Marie Antoinette. So there's the actual Marie Antoinette versus like the depiction in the story. So I think that's really cool. Also totally inspired by my friend Kathia to get into this series because her Oscar cosplays are so good. So good. On to the next. So this book was about equivalent to 28 Canadian dollars, and that is the Aqua stage costume book. So this has the various costumes, like pictures of the various costumes of the live performances from the real life
Love Live shows. This is also the book that, hey, there it is, that we referenced to make our Omoi cosplays. So there it is. As I mentioned before, we went off the stage shows a bit more than the original anime. So there's the thing. Here's the thing I referenced. And now I suddenly have a lot more cosplay ideas. And this is a problem. I didn't want the idle bug to bite me, but it has. I'm looking at Mae-Gwyn's direction as I say this. Finally, the last thing I bought, Sailor Moon Le Mouvement Final. This is from one of the live musical shows. Do we see this? This is beautiful. Where's Best Girl? There she is. There she is. This is stunning. I eventually want to make some of the costumes from the live musicals because they are just beautiful. And that was my little haul from Akihabara today. And a little bit of Harajuku that we hit this morning. Now I'm gonna go repack my bags again. Oh boy. We're out at Akihabara again. Because we definitely missed a few things yesterday. So we're back out. I'm in Cinnamon Roll Supremacy outfit today, because Cinnamon Roll is best Cinnamon Roll. We found Charles and Lucas. Hey! Hey! Look who we bumped into.
Yeah.
The vlogging camera.
Recharging.
Look at this place. It is a fabulous place.
We're gonna go grab something to eat. I think they already ate.
Yeah, but
They
I
probably
can
already.
still eat.
Charles can always eat. Oh, look, hi.
We're doing some multi-vlogging.
We're doing some vlogging here.
multi-vlogging.
Hold on, hold on.
Multi-vlogging.
Multi-vlogging. Oh my god, what's happening here?
I think I have to take out my secret weapon.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Wow.
Triple vlogging. Oh no.
There's more
Oh
vlogging
no, so much
happening.
vlogging. Welcome to when you put,
Wow,
you put Canadians in Japan, you just get a lot of vlogging.
Yep.
And they're already doing shopping. They're doing shopping a lot.
Yes.
We are shopping. Yes.
We did a ton of shopping.
I bought a ton of small little things.
We got a bunch of trinkets, some figures.
Ida bags now.
You can need like 10 new Ida bags.
I haven't found any yet.
So with Charles' guidance, we actually found a really neat ramen place nearby, your kind of mom and pop shop kind of place, so we decided to walk over together, even if he had just eaten a little while before. This guy can always eat ramen. At this place, you would actually pay at the door and select what you wanted and then give the little ticket stub to the chef behind the counter. This place was really nice and really small, and luckily there was enough space for all of us, despite being quite a large group actually when you really think about it. But it had a really traditional feeling, and that kind of gave us the opinion that it would actually be really good food, and we were not wrong. The meals, the ramen were excellent. It was so good. I dream of having such a meal again. Everything was so well made and so delicious. We all finished our bowls right up. It was amazing. After parting ways with Charles and Lucas, we then went over to a local shrine because Meg found out that there was a Matsuri happening that day. It was very crowded, and you could see crowds of people in yukata and also modern clothing heading towards the shrine, and you can hear the music in the distance. This place was absolutely beautiful, and oh my gosh, was it ever crowded. There were so many people, and I don't even think I've ever seen that many people crowded into such a space before like this. Yet, because of it being a shrine, it still felt oddly calming, which was a really cool experience. The shrine was absolutely beautiful. I wouldn't expect any less at this point, and there were so many stalls with food and drink and all of that, but the lines were very long, so we didn't brave any this time around, as good as everything smelt. Now, this Matsuri is, I guess, a kind of dance festival, where there's a raised stage, a raised platform where there's dancers and performers, and the crowd is meant to kind of follow along. It's a bit of a tutorial, I guess, in a sense. I felt a little awkward doing so because, well, Meg, Corey, and I were a lot taller than the average person in the crowd, so I always felt like I was awkwardly blocking people's view when I was trying to jump and follow the movements. But Meg got really into it and actually followed along pretty well at one point. I was also really tired, so I kind of just let her do the thing and filmed her a little bit. But it was really fun to see the crowd's energy, and just the performers were really, really good. They even had a live singer at one point, and she was even singing the theme of that particular shrine, as each shrine has its own official theme song. The next day was very sunny and very hot, but we decided to brave the heat to meet up with Charles and Lucas again. This time it was for a very different experience, and while I'm glad we did it, I gotta admit it was hot. So we went to the Diver City Tokyo Plaza, which is basically a big mall with a big Gundam in front of it. We wanted to cool off pretty quickly, so we went inside and got some food, which Charles and Lucas polished off so quickly. These guys love their Japanese food and know how to recommend it, because I ate most of my meal too. This plaza had some really cool stores, but we didn't really make it into the Gundam base because the line was very long and as were the waiting times. But we did check out some other stores and also some gachas. I love gachas, and most of the presents I brought back for friends and even family were gachas because I kind of like the idea of, oh, I just saw something that made me think of you, and getting one at random. It kind of is a nice little vibe. And I also got this cute little cat gacha. It's very cute, and I'm very happy with it, and it lives at my workplace now. We also got to see the Gundam transform and do a little light show, which was really neat.
Alright, ooh, the mist just went back on again. So we have sat down for a second, Charles fed some birds, and it's time to go brave Comiket. It's gonna be hot, it's gonna be busy, and we have just discussed that it's probably one of Dante's circles of hell. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think so.
We think so. We
Not
think
the
it
icy
is.
one. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
so we're gonna go experience Comiket. We've heard things, but we're doing it. And the boys have their novice drivers badges, so people know that we are Comiket noobs.
Noobs.
We've never been. It's gonna be an experience, isn't it? Let's go.
No.
So I know we joked about Dante's Circles of Hell, but I guess we can call this the Daunting Circle of Hell because, oh my gosh, there were so many people and it was so hot out. I have to commend all the cosplayers that actually did show up because there were a few around, but it was hot and there were so many people. Comiket is one of the biggest comic conventions probably in the world, I think, at this point. I actually don't know the statistics, but you could really feel it here. I don't think I've ever been at any event with this many people, and at such a large venue too. Even the indoor areas didn't feel air conditioned. I don't even know if they were, because there were just that many people. You couldn't really get around much, honestly. It was a lot. There were so many people. It was kind of neat to experience, but also overwhelming. I also had to be very careful while filming in here because a lot of the art was very, well, risque, I should say. Definitely some interesting things that I haven't seen before, to be completely honest, at an artist alley in Canada. Meg ended up picking up this really sweet idol art book. I believe these are original characters by the artist. They were so cute, she just couldn't resist, and honestly, look at this art, it's so good! There were so many talented artists here. And then while waiting in another line to get to a different area, I started to experience heat exhaustion.
Very tired. I mean, you survived it. I survived it. Not very long though. I needed to get out. But I survived it.
Yeah, I mean, we knew going in that it was going to be hot and crowded and exhausting.
It was a lot.
And that there would be no place to sit, no place to drink water. Like,
A lot. Oh boy. Hanging out, doing things. It's Team Sweden. We're getting food. After Comiket, because they also braved Comiket. Look at this beautiful food. More ramen, because more ramen. We've got some ramen, pork, ramen and pork. Ooh, he got the pork, big pork bowl, and then a different kind of ramen and pork.
well, looks like my battery is dead.
Fantastic. Look at all this.
Like my battery is...
After our lovely meal, we decided as a group to head over to the Pokemon Center that was in this particular complex. Not the same complex from earlier, but a totally different one. So a totally different Pokemon Center, and this one had the Pikachu Sweets Pokemon Cafe spin-off right across from it. I really loved all these statues that were around and especially liked to boop the Rowlet. And of course, we had to head to Pikachu Sweets for dessert. Even though it was almost at closing time and there was hardly any menu items actually left, we just had to brave the line and get something because, my gosh, this place was cute. And also looked really, really good. The theming was just remarkably good. A lot of these graphics were specially made for Pikachu Sweets. And we also met up with Team Spain, which was not intentional. We accidentally bumped into them on this trip twice. What are the odds of that? You let nerds loose in Japan and we all go to the same places. It's absolutely hilarious and amazing. And across from Pikachu Sweets is this contained little Alcremie Pokemon just staring as you eat his ice cream brethren. Quite off-putting. I also couldn't help it and just had to get the little Chef Pikachu for my kitchen. It's now a permanent decoration there. I got this lovely grape drink and oh my gosh was it ever good. I'm glad I got this. It was very overpriced, as was everything here, but goodness it was good. So honestly, well worth it. The next day we hopped onto a train and I caught some flights and then I was heading back home to Canada. This trip was amazing and thank you so much to all of you for coming along on this adventure with me. Remember to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I guess I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!